GMGP. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is. Jordan Richard. You can find him on X at your boy Jay Rich. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Tuesday, every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over here on the channel. If you're new, we have a good time every time. Engage with the good people in the chat. The Wake Up crew is awesome. Jay and I will engage with y'all all throughout the show, and we got a lot to talk about. Jay, new head coaches in some new places. Some old head coaches saying, hey, we taking our talent somewhere else. A big-time announcement in college football, maybe one or two. And then, we got NFL Divisional Round playoffs this weekend. It's going to be a great time. Monday, we've got the national championship game we got to talk about. And then content. Y'all like free stuff? Free 99. We got content on not one, not two, but three channels over here that we got to talk about. But y'all know what it is, baby. The people. Jay Rich, we got to say what's up to the people in the building. What's going on, Mr. Gout? Wake y'all asses up. Absolutely. Why does the comment box every damn day, Jay Rich? I got to mess with this. What's going down with you, big dog? Yes, wake up, hit the thumbs up button, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Who else we got in the building? Anahola in the building. GMGP to you. What's going on, baby? And you can't even see it, but I'm going to slide it over so we get you on the screen. Bam. There it is. GMGP to you, baby. Hearts, love. I hope you had a great week. What's up, Adam? Jimbo in the building. Jacob in the building. Anthony, Ricardo. My wife, I thought she was in the bed sleep, Jay Rich, but she is up and watching. Shout out to baby girl in the room. She the baddest, 1908. Who else we got in the building? We got Mason Villa, 267. What's going down, baby? We got a question here. Ray, I got to ask, big dog. We went from 5 days to 3 days to 2 days. Are you totally switching to college? What's going on? Well, let me be honest with you, Mason. It's been a long time since Jay Rich and I did them 5 day a week wake up shows, Jay. We ain't getting paid like that no more. But in the off season, we normally just give ourselves some time. A lot of content creators, they tap out around this time, but we go 365 every single month, every single week, whether it's downtime or the hype season. But in the off season, we do chop down twice a week. We need a break to do some other stuff and just relax, reset before we get in the full swing of the draft and then draft season come the summertime. So don't trip, man. We'll be back to 3 days a week, but it ain't been 5 for a long time. We need Bets TV to come back, Jay Rich, before we go back to 5 days a week. Let's talk about some of the content that you all may have missed on the channel that y'all got to go check out. Over on DDFFB, we had our boys Dynasty Theory talking quarterback markets, looking at some of the veteran quarterbacks alongside the potential rookies in this class, which we will talk about later. So make sure you check out Mitch, Dan, John, and the guys Dynasty Theory over on DDFFB. If you're not subscribed, just type that into your search bar on YouTube. Boom. All the content from our fantasy football side of things, it's going down over there. And then Scott Connor and Shane Manila, y'all know the crazy guys, Manic and Chill. They were on live yesterday, Jay. I don't know if you got a chance to catch their show, but they were talking Dynasty Startup Strategy. They actually did a Dynasty Startup mock. They did like 3 rounds. You know good and damn well Scott and Shane can't get through a full mock in an hour and a half show. But, Jay, they are off next week, but in 2 weeks they're doing a mega stream. They're going to do a Dynasty Startup League, like a $250 buy-in. They're going to do a startup thing, and they're doing it with the listeners and the viewers of the show. And I told them if they get 150 people inside their stream, we're going to give away a month membership to the new website. So make sure you check out that video and go over there and support those boys. And then check out the content over here on this channel. I dropped a mock on Tuesday. We got to redo it, Jay Rich. We got to chop it up and redo it. A lot of stuff has changed since Tuesday. We got to chop that thing up and redo it. But check out the mock on the channel. And then later today, Jay, probably noon Eastern is when me and DP are going to go live right here on the channel, talking all things 2026. Dante Moore and his decision. And then we're going to do like a mini mock. I don't know if we're going to go a full 32, but we'll talk through how some of the decisions made by Dante Moore and other players in the class are going to impact the NFL draft. So make sure you check out another stream over here on the channel a little later today. My goodness, Jay, I think all the housekeeping is out of the way. How you doing, big dog?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited for this week's football. I think we have some great games on tap. I'm excited for the national championship. Should be a fun game. But Ray, I don't know if you saw, Ray.
What was it?
But did you see that J. Cole is already announced his album. It's coming out on February 6th. I am so excited, Ray. This guy's already dropping tracks. Cole's dropping new music.
Okay.
There's other stuff on the way. It's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be a good week. Going to be a good month. I'm very, very excited. Although Rio wants to go to that Bruno Mars concert. So.
Oh, dude.
so
Hey,
I have to be saving up for that one.
Rashida's already. She sent me the tour date list probably a week ago because we go to a lot of concerts, dude. We love music. It's our love language. Yeah. So we're always at a concert. And Bruno's been the one that we've wanted to see that we haven't been able to go to.
Oh, really?
So
yeah. I've never seen him either.
When they come to Dallas, the damn boys have a baseball tournament that day, and she was like, "I don't give a damn. We're going. If we gotta miss bracket play, it doesn't matter. We're going to the Bruno Mars." So I feel your pain, man. Send some super chats in so Jay Rich and I can afford Bruno Mars tickets for our significant others. But I'm with you, Jay. We will be in the building as well. Hell, what day? We might come to Canada. Let's pull up.
If you want to, man. If you want to pay. How much it costs though for you to go?
Baseball. Never mind. I can't do it. We'll have to stay in Dallas. We'll have to stay in Dallas. But let's get to it, man. We've got some big time news, Jay Rich, that broke late last night, early this morning, depending on when you saw it, when you got it. But the first domino has officially kind of crumbled, fallen down, as John Harbaugh looks to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. They are finalizing what looks like a 5-year deal to be the next head coach of the team. And it looks like Harbaugh's bringing his boy with him, Jay. This is how me and you got to roll, man. If you get that job, you got to bring me alongside it, Jay Rich. You're bringing in Todd Monken, right? Todd Monken is coming in to be the offensive coordinator for John Harbaugh. So the New York Giants, I believe this is the first head coaching hire in the cycle. We've got, 6-7 teams that currently don't have a head coach, but this was the big domino that needed to fall. The Giants are going to have their new head coach. There are people saying that this is a home run fit. They are comparing it to the New England Patriots getting Mike Vrabel. Jay, what are your thoughts on Harbaugh to the Giants?
I feel pessimistic about it. Like, really? I don't know if it's one of those situations where I think back, right? And, just a few days ago, I was looking at John Harbaugh's record, and it's like, 2 losing seasons in 18 years. But I'm kind of like, was he like a great coach? You think back to the Flacco years. They had a great defense.
You're already
curious.
It's so early. I'm not up for the shenanigans.
Am I really excited about Harbaugh? Is he really going to develop Dart? Do I like what Monken did with Lamar? I'm kind of like, we'll see, right? And even people who obviously watch the show frequently, I loved the Vrabel hire because of what I thought he could bring to New England. Did I think he would do what he did? Absolutely not. So the question to you is, okay, it's a great hire. We know he's been a great coach in the past. This team seems like it's in a good spot. Like when we ranked them a few days ago, I think I had the Giants at 3rd or 4th on my list. You got Dart, Scatterby coming back. We love Neighbors. A defense that should be good. But Monken, Harbaugh, I think who the DC is really going to end up mattering. I just think it's fine. Like, they're still playing in a tough NFC East division, right? Do I think they're ready to beat Dallas because they have Harbaugh? Not necessarily. I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I kind of wish he went to a spot with maybe some more cap space where they could really build out the roster. I think it's fine. What do you think of Harbaugh going to the Giants?
I think it's a great fit. I think it's a great coach. Right after the season, they were interviewing or talking to Darius Slayton in the locker room, and he talked about them needing a different type of leader in the locker room. And the name that was invoked at the time that Slayton gave that interview was Tom Coughlin. And obviously they're not going back to Coughlin, and I don't think John Harbaugh, at least the perception that I have, he isn't as strict and rigid and tough as Tom Coughlin. But this is a man who ran one of the best franchises in the NFL. There was a poll recently discussed on social media talking about how good the Ravens organization is, from ownership group, facilities, training staff. I believe they were ranked 3rd in the NFL. So this was a very good organization that he came from, and you're going to a place that there hasn't really been consistency since Tom Coughlin's been the coach of the Giants, right? And we're talking years ago. I think this was a great fit. You're getting a proven leader. How Jackson Dart is going to develop, what this team is going to look like, nobody can say right now. But I think when you've got somebody in place that knows what they're doing, they know how to run a football team and operation, you can't say that is a bad hire. You look at the division, and honestly, while the NFC East a few years ago, they had 3 teams in the playoffs, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Philadelphia Eagles. You look at this division now, a lot of uncertainty in Dallas. Defensively, the defense is a mess. Offensively, there are pieces in place, but this isn't the same Dallas Cowboys offense that we looked at and we talked about back in 2016, 2020. Yeah. It has shifted. The Washington Commanders, for one game from the Super Bowl or NFC Championship to, hell, they're picking top 10 in the NFL draft right now. So even Philadelphia and all of the drama surrounding the Eagles, Kevin Petula, no longer the offensive coordinator, fired, needed to happen a long time ago. A.J. Brown, I do a mock where I mock a wide receiver to Philadelphia. Eagles fans saying, we're not going to get rid of A.J. Brown. Why would we do that? And I'm like, did you not just see the season that transpired? So this division
could be very in flux. It's kind of what you're getting at.
It's talented, but there's no sure thing inside the NFC East. I think it's a great hire. I think it's a great fit. I think this will be good for Jackson Dart's development and maturation as well. He's not Lamar Jackson, so the offense will have to look a little different. Let's see what the pieces look like. They've got draft capital. I'm not sure about their financial, what type of money they have to spend in free agency.
Apparently, it's going into next season. They got more. They got to get some money off the books right now, it seems.
Okay. It's going to take them a while. This isn't a one-year turnaround. I'm not expecting Harbaugh to lead them to the playoffs this season, but I think it's a great hire. I think it's a great hire for the Giants.
Oh, for the Giants, it's a great hire. I'm just curious, do you want to go as far as Vrabel? I think, to your point, I look at it more as a 2-year thing. We got to get Dart. Again, he's going to have a new OC again, and this is really to some extent, his third offensive system, because he had the Kafka and Daboll side. Then it was just Kafka. Now it'll be, Todd Monken, and we'll see what he brings. I'm curious, though, because I think that the one thing I will say about Monken is that while he did use Lamar very effectively, I'm curious how he's going to use Dart, because I feel like he will be able to relate to Dart to some extent, only because of all the success he had in college running a similar type of system. So I'm curious to see how that's all going to work out. But at the same time, we've seen him with really great quarterbacks. We haven't seen him with a developmental guy like Dart to see how he's going to develop him over the long term. Great organizational hire, but I hope that Joe Schoen doesn't get in the way, because he's kind of the black sheep in this whole situation. And there was a lot of reports over whether or not he'd even be retained as GM, whether Harbaugh wanted him or not. And I think that's the other side of it. It's like you said, the organization for Baltimore was so strong for all the years that Harbaugh was there. We're not so sure if we believe in Schoen to help develop this team and get the right pieces in place, but I'm sure Harbaugh will have a big say in who they draft and who they bring in.
I just have to say it, because if it were me, you would have corrected me 2 shows ago. I believe it's Joe Schoen. I don't think it's Schoen.
Oh, it's Shane.
I think it's Shane. I think if it were me, the first time I said it wrong, you would have been trying to call me out. I gave you about 2 shows to get it. I think it's Joe Schoen.
That's all right.
Did he not help develop Lamar, though? Think about when Lamar stepped in for Joe Flacco, I believe in 2018, that playoff game against the Chargers. It wasn't good, and he did get better. The very next year, he won NFL MVP. A few years later, he won MVP again. I'm not saying that was Harbaugh developing him, but he's been around a developmental quarterback. And Jackson Dart, while he is not the runner or the athlete that Lamar Jackson is, you can argue maybe he's got a little better touch as a passer coming out at their early stages of their career. I think he will be fine. More importantly, good leaders, Jay, they don't have to do everything, right? Good leaders are good at delegating and making sure that the lieutenants and the coordinators, they get the job done and they motivate the players. And I think that when you get somebody like Harbaugh that is used to running an operation and a pretty good leader of football teams, he should do the right job of putting the right pieces in place to maximize the talent of his players. So I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good hire. Good for the New York Giants, Jay. Let's keep it moving in coaching news, because we kind of talked about it, but it didn't happen until we got done. As soon as we get done with the damn show, that's when all the news breaks. But Mike Tomlin, no longer the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jay. Mike Tomlin stepping down. He was not fired. This felt like it was coming. We talked about it earlier in the season when things were going off of the rails for this team. But now Pittsburgh, no Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if you heard his comments, but a lot of the decision or the influence for him to come to Pittsburgh had to do with his respect and admiration for Mike T.
Yeah.
With Mike Tomlin out of the building, everybody is speculating. Rodgers said it absolutely, changes what he was going to do. And I think a lot of people feel he is going to retire. He has been open about that, saying after the season, that would be it. He's 42 years old. So now you look at a franchise that, Tomlin's been there forever, Jay. Prior to him, it was Bill Cowher. Prior to him, you weren't even born, right? Yeah. So where does Pittsburgh go from here? They don't pick high. They were one of those teams that you almost rather them not make your squad make the playoffs than get in there and just get spanked because you have no chance. Because now they pick 21st overall in the draft. You don't have a head coach. You don't have a quarterback. The offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, completely gone. Where do the Steelers go from here?
Well, it's funny you say that because I think they're going to hire Chris Shula. So Chris Shula is the Rams defense coordinator right now. And I forget who tweeted it out, and I was trying to just find it quickly, as you were talking. But the last 3 hires for Pittsburgh have all been like 30-year-old young coaches, right? We know that when they hired Mike Tomlin, he was very, very young. I think it was the same when they hired Bill Cowher as well. But Shula is a guy that's been talked about for, honestly, the last 2 coaching cycles. And especially with the way that he turned around the Rams defense, late last year coming into this season, I still believe that the Steelers will go leaning more on the defensive side. You look at some of the markets and where he's predicted to go. Shula is, one of the favorites right now. McCarthy is an option. Flores is an option. Jesse Minter, the LA Chargers DC, is an option. And then Saleh is going to interview for them as well. So you look at kind of the candidates right now. If I was putting my money down, it would probably be on Minter, Shula, or potentially Jeff Hafley as well. It doesn't seem like he's really in the mix. He's probably favored to go to another spot. But I think it'd be a young defensive guy is what makes sense for the Steelers right now. I think that's their identity. I think that's, where they should be looking. And for me, Chris Shula is probably the perfect hire. You get the pedigree as well with his dad being a coach and stuff like that. I think the Steelers will like that. Just a young, good defensive coordinator, very well respected, had some good defenses over the past few years. I think that's the route they're ultimately going to go in Pittsburgh.
Who's playing quarterback for him next year?
That's the big question. And the other reason why I love Chris Shula is that the passing coordinator for the Rams has gotten head coaching interviews and has been requested even by Pittsburgh as a potential head coaching candidate. So if they do hire Chris Shula, they'll probably bring him over to be the OC. So you have a full Rams regime in Pittsburgh, which I think a lot of people will like. But quarterback, you maybe
Malik
look at the draft.
Malik Willis?
The problem now, and we will obviously get to it, is what do the Jets do at quarterback?
Yeah.
Because they don't have an option at number 2. Maybe they do, but it's all said and done. But the plan is definitely changing now for the Jets. Malik Willis has been a player who has been talked about to go to the Jets. I'm not sure what they do. Maybe they just roll with what they got. Maybe they're comfortable with a quick rebuild or a turnaround year. Now, I believe the ownership group already said they don't want to rebuild. They want to keep building with this roster. But we know how old this roster is. We know how much money they've invested in the defense. Like, it just feels like a defensive guy is the better pick. But offensively, who they bring in at OC and who they bring in at quarterback, I have no idea where this had to go because they could go a lot of directions. They could go in the draft because their pick's not too bad. It's, in the 20s once again. You could maybe land a Ty Simpson. I'm sure you'd have better thoughts on that. But outside of that, I'm not really sure where they go at quarterback because signing a guy or trading for a guy is going to be very expensive, I think, this offseason.
I'm going to say something that people probably won't want to hear. I can fully see them going into the damn season with Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and another body, and just
whatever, man.
I don't want to say tanking it, but that team has got to change. Like the Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey iteration of the Steelers, something has got to change. Gainwell's on a 1-year deal. They made would you say a massive mistake with DK Metcalf? How much worse are they? It felt like the damn offense was better with George Pickens in the building over DK Metcalf. Yeah. And they've paid him like a top 5 receiver all time, which is insane. Now that we have it official, Jay, and the Giants are no longer in the running, rank the head coaching spots. You've got Cleveland, you've got Las Vegas, you've got the Miami Dolphins. The Pittsburgh Steelers still need a head coach. Well, Arizona, I haven't even heard anybody linked to the damn Cardinals. Like
it's not good options linked
Are they
to
going to hire
Arizona.
anybody in damn Arizona? Like, what does this look like for you? Top 5. What's your favorite spot? You don't have to give me all. Your favorite spot out there right now, head coach to find success, to be to really kind of turn that franchise around. What spot gives a coach that opportunity?
I think for me, still the number one spot outside of Baltimore, which is like the easy spot. You got the quarterback. For me, it's still the Raiders. I just love what you could be able to do with the Raiders. I think players are going to want to play for the Raiders once they have some stability, once they have the right coach. We know Tom Brady's going to be involved. We know they have lots of money going forward. They're not overly tied to Geno Smith. They did give him a 3-year deal, but it's only about 1.5 guaranteed. Maybe it's 2 years guaranteed. So you can get out of that relatively quickly. We know they're going to draft Mendoza, who I like is kind of like a starting point. We know their offensive line needs some work, but we know they also have some offensive weapons. Defensively, it's another conversation, right? That's where I think a defensive head coach could be a decent option, but I just like the offensive side more because you're going to develop Mendoza over this next 5 years. But I just think with the cap space they have, the situation they're in, being in Vegas, like I just think it's a desirable spot for people once things kind of get going. They haven't had too much trouble bringing in free agents. And then the other one for me would be Atlanta. I really like Atlanta, the team, where they're at. But the problem, too, is it feels like ownership gets in the way a little bit. I don't love the whole Matt Ryan situation of it all. I do think that John Spytek and what he learned from Jason Light in Tampa Bay is going to bode him very well, pay dividends over the long term. Light's been one of the best GMs in the NFL for like the last 4 or 5 years, bringing in talent, drafting great players in Tampa Bay. They've been competitive for years and years. So I just like what they have as a foundation. But Pete Carroll just did them no favors. So you bring in the right head coach with the right philosophies, build up the culture in Las Vegas. I think that's the spot that a lot of fans, a lot of people would look at and say, really? Like, we want to go to Vegas. We want a good coach to go to Vegas. But I don't think the turnaround would be as difficult as people think it would be. But yeah, for me, it would probably be Baltimore number 1, Vegas number 2, Atlanta number 3. The Giants would have been 4. I don't know if I want to go Pittsburgh at 5 because it feels like they have so much to kind of turn around. I think I'd probably have Cleveland actually at 5. I'm not a fan of the Tennessee job. Cam Ward is a bit of a part of that, but also I don't really like the GM there either. And then Arizona's kind of just Arizona. We'll see what they decide to do. But
yeah, I didn't realize there were so many. I think Atlanta after Baltimore.
And Miami, too, is another one in flux, man.
I'll go Atlanta. Baltimore's the surefire number 1 spot, so I'm sort of throwing them out of the mix. Outside of Baltimore, I think the Atlanta Falcons, the NFC South, absolutely a winnable division.
Yep.
I like what they've done defensively. The big thing with the Falcons was their inability to get after the quarterback. Over the last couple of years prior to 2025, they've been dead last in the NFL in sacks, and this year, after investing in James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, some other pieces, they set a franchise record for sacks. Defensively, they've got safety play. Sure, you can always upgrade your linebacker, that second level. They've got a cornerback in Terrell. Really like the Falcons' spot, the weapons they have offensively, and the division that they play in. So outside of Baltimore, I'd put Atlanta there. I'm with you with Las Vegas. Cleveland, if you get the right guy in the building, you still got a mess at quarterback, but you've got draft capital in that division as well. Think about it. 2 of the premier teams inside the AFC North. Well, there's only 1 team in the AFC North right now with a head coach.
You get the head coach,
1. Yep. And it's Zach Taylor. Out of all
somehow
Harbaugh, Tomlin, Stefanski, it's Zach Taylor who has survived the head coaching apocalypse, and he's still there.
Yeah.
That division could be up for grabs too. I know historically It's been one of the most difficult ones, but you got 3 teams without head coaches. 2 of the teams don't have damn quarterbacks. Defensively, it's kind of a mess all the way around. What a wild just sort of situation playing out across the NFL. Some other quick-hitting news coaching options. Greg Roman finally fired. Good gosh. Get him out of the building. He is done in L.A. We talked about Kevin Petula being fired from the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator job as well. Mike McDaniel, Jay Rich, is making his rounds in the head coaching circle. I believe he interviewed for the Browns job. He interviewed for the Lions offensive coordinator
the Titans
role.
Too.
The Titans head coaching job for McDaniel?
Yeah, he also went and interviewed with the Titans head coaching scheme. They're bringing a lot of guys, right? And then Jeff Hafley also interviewed with the Dolphins, so that could be an interesting spot for him. I thought he'd get a better job personally. And then the other big one is that Robert Saleh is also interviewing with the Titans and Ravens on Sunday. So after their game on Saturday, he's going to interview with those teams virtually because he can't do an in-person interview yet. And then Brian Flores will also interview for that Pittsburgh job. But Ray, I do have a fun little question for you before we move on.
Let's go.
Because Mike Tomlin stepped down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Mm-hmm. He is not supposed to coach this season. So anyone thinking he's going to coach this year, probably heard already, he's not going to coach this year. So we're going to try and predict, maybe not where he goes, but I want you to give me your thoughts on these potential openings. There's so many openings this year. There could be some one and dones, but I want your thoughts on this list of teams that Mike Tomlin could be coaching for next season. Starting off with number 1, the New York Jets that can't possibly run it back with Aaron Glenn for a 3rd season.
Okay.
Could you see him, how funny would that be? With Harbaugh going to the Giants, then Tomlin going to play for the Jets. So you got both of them in New York.
I could see it.
What are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin to Philadelphia after the wheels fall off in 2026?
Oh, the wheels are absolutely fall. They are going to fall off in 26. It's close in proximity, right? It feels like it would be.
Still in PA.
I don't know. I don't know about Philly. I don't know how that one sounds right off the rip. Who else we got?
All right, let's go a little bit further east and head to Washington. Because I do think that Dan Quinn, right, if he has another bad season, he probably will be fired, right?
Done. No.
You think he's done? You're just calling it right now. You think he's got one more year and that's it?
Oh, Quinn, yeah. If he doesn't get it done this year, they'll fire him. Step 1 is the OC leaving. That's step 1.
Yeah.
One more year. The defense stinks. If he can't turn the offense around.
Well, and I think the DC is also up for grabs too.
He's done.
Because they interviewed Flores for.
If he can't get it
spot.
done, he's done. He's done. He's out.
Then of course, big Shoddy, Ray, Dallas. Can Shoddy survive another? It's crazy that the NFC East, right? No. All these coaches are kind of outside of Sirianni. Really, he's the one that's things really have to go bad for Sirianni. But Quinn and Shoddy could both be fired by next year.
Shoddy would get dumped for Tomlin. Shoddy would get dumped for Tomlin, which would again be crazy to have Tomlin and Harbaugh inside the same division once again. I like it. I like it. I would like that.
And then what do you think about a one and done in Cleveland and Tomlin goes to Cleveland? I think Cleveland's a little bit less likely.
I don't know. One and done. Look how bad they've been, and Stefanski's been there for a while. So I don't know if they're going to one and done somebody in Cleveland. I like
Patrick's asking about Tampa Bay because there has been some links with Tampa Bay.
Oh, Bowles
potentially if Todd Bowles is gone, right?
That brother better make it to the NFC Championship game. Anything less than an NFC title, he is out of the building. There's no doubt about it. I can see. I don't know if they're going to go 2 black defensive head coaches in a row in Tampa. I'm just saying. I think they may just go in. You know how they just go in different directions. We had this defensive guy. I don't think they'll replace Bowles with Tomlin 2 years in a row. It'll probably be a completely. Who's the OC in San Francisco? Who's Liam Cohen's protege?
Oh, have you seen Liam Cohen's OC? He's like 30 years old, and apparently people love him.
Yeah,
people love him.
What are we doing wrong in life?
I don't know.
Good Lord.
I don't know.
Well, that's not all the news, Jay Rich. We had a big time commitment in college football yesterday. Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes Jr., Jay Rich, committed to play football in 2026. To the Oregon Ducks. He is going to take his talents to Pacific Northwest, Jay, and he will be on Nike Campus U. I don't know if you saw those new Nike Mind slides. I need to get a pair, Jay Rich. They sold out.
You're not buying those slides.
Oh hell yeah. I'm getting the slides and the ones that tie up, Jay. I gotta activate my brain over here. But Dylan Raiola commits to play football at the University of Oregon, which had a lot of people excited, a lot of talent. This is the son of a former NFL legend, right? An NFL player. And you've got you didn't know that? You didn't know his dad was okay. Well, yes, he is.
Was he any good?
He was pretty good. He was pretty good, Jay Rich. But neither here nor there. That wasn't all that came out of Eugene, Oregon yesterday because the announcement waited on around the world for their decision was made. And he made it seem like, oh, yeah, of course. I'm coming back to school. And we're talking about Dante Moore. Jay Rich, the projected number 2 overall pick in the 2026 draft class. This was supposed to be the Jets' future at the quarterback position. But listen, have I not been saying it every single week? Jay, I've been called a madman. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ray is crazy. This other guy, why would he come out? Dante Moore said, I'm going back, and it was never even a question. He is returning to school for his next season, which means the NFL draft class this year just got that much weaker. It's a lot weaker now. What are your thoughts on Dante Moore's decision to return to school? Was it the right move? And then we'll talk about how this impacts this year's class and what it looks like next year in 27.
So I think that this whole situation with Dante Moore is very interesting.
Okay.
Right? Because there's people always talk about, well, should you come out if you're not ready? And it didn't look like Dante Moore was ready to come out.
It did not.
But at the same time, if he was actually going to go number 2 overall to the Jets, I'm not sure how you pass that up. Because if Ty Simpson was going number 2 overall to the Jets, he would, I mean, he's obviously coming out anyways, but he would definitely be coming out. There wouldn't be a conversation. Like he'd be gone, right? And so it's now like he's going to be in a much more loaded class. I can almost promise you he will not be QB1 because the way that Texas is loading up right now, I'm not sure how anyone is going to do what Arch Manning expected to do next season. But we'll see. You know, there's like what 7 or 8 quarterbacks right now that everyone says could be in the mix, you know, first round, depending on what happens. And there may be a few surprises. Like the competition will be very similar like we saw in 2024, right? When there was all these quarterbacks, guys who stayed and returned and had great seasons. But I'm curious how it all plays out for Moore because the way that my brain works tells me that if you were actually going to go number 2, you should have left. I don't care if it's the Jets. I don't care if it's whatever. Like, we've seen plenty of quarterbacks who struggled early in their careers, find homes later in their careers once they get in better situations. I'm just not sure how you turn down that $50 million you're going to get from that rookie deal going very high. And potentially, like, Ray, do you think there's a world where he could fall to the second round next year if he doesn't have a good season? Now, I think that's very unlikely with how good Oregon is. But what do you think could be the trade-off for him in terms of protected draft capital if he does have a so-so season and he's not a top 2 quarterback going into next year?
Here's my thought on this. If he's really like that, he should be right back in the mix. If he's really like that, you should be right back in the mix. And I do agree with you. Had he gotten the news and the information that he'd be picked at number 2 overall, he would have come out. Everybody just assumes that he was going to be picked number 2 overall. And I've continued to say, how do we know that's the grade that he got? How do we know the NFL Advisory Committee didn't say, yeah, man, you probably need to go back into school? And the reports came out that he had already been advised that the NFL teams thought he was coming back. That they didn't even think he would be in the class. This is the problem with, and I'm just going to be we like to talk ball, right? Our job, we want to entertain. People wake up as early in the morning. They watch the show later. We want to entertain. But so do the big name. These draft, they don't know shit either, right? They don't know, especially in January. So this idea, the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm sitting back watching him, Jay, saying, man, I don't know if he's ready. Shouldn't somebody in a position much higher than me in the football world, maybe they're thinking the same thing. Maybe they're thinking the same thing that old Jordan Richards out there in Canada and Ray Garvin down here in Texas, maybe they're thinking the same thing that we're thinking. I don't know if he got the grade to be number 2 overall. Had he gotten that, I don't think it wouldn't matter if it was the Jets, the Mets. It doesn't matter. He would have come out. It really does not. I don't think he got the grade. Listen, if he's really like that, next year he'll be right back in the mix. When you look at 2027 now, you've got Arch Manning, Dante Moore, Julian Sand, Sam Levitt at LSU, Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech. That's not to mention some of the other names that we haven't even mentioned. CJ Carr out of Notre Dame, Lenora Sellers, South Carolina. The pool and the talent, Jaden Mayava out of USC is deep. All you need is like 3 or 4 of those guys to actually develop into a draftable asset. Darian Mensah out of Duke. The class is loaded. Drew Mestamaker at Oklahoma State, not going to come out. John Mateer is going to have to come out. The class is loaded. And if I'm sitting there at the top of the draft here at 26, Like, why not just take the damn best available player? I know this draft isn't that good. I know the quarterback pool is much better in 2027. And I know the free agent options this year probably better than anybody outside of Fernando Mendoza that we can draft. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Ty Simpson gets steamed up to be a first-round pick. It wouldn't shock me. I don't think he's going to go top 10. In my last mock, I put him at 11 with Dante Moore coming out, kind of making that. I think he probably ends up in that dart range. I've got a second-round grade on Ty Simpson, but I think this looks a lot like 2022, where you get one first-round quarterback. That's it. This looks a lot like 2022. Hell, it may look a lot like last year, where Cam Ward went 1 overall, and then the next quarterback didn't come off the board until the 20s, and that was Jackson Dart. I think it was 25th overall was Jackson Dart. I don't think Ty Simpson should be drafted any higher than where Dart went. So I think he's going to fall in between those mid to late 20s to the early part of the second round. This QB class sucks, flat out. I like Trinidad Chambliss.
It's not very promising.
You know, Jay, it's a big gamble. I might like him a little bit more than the NFL. It's like, hey, this guy needs to come in and play quarterback for us. It stinks, Jay. The running backs, they're already saying there may not be a running back drafted after Jeremiah Love until day 3 of the NFL draft. You want to tell me Nicholas Singleton is the 2, Emmett Johnson?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we have? This is the Bishop Sankey class. There's one guy in Jeremiah Love and then a bunch of nothing after that. The receivers are good. Tight ends are decent. But overall, the draft strength of a class is kind of determined by the quarterback position, and this year's quarterback group is awful.
Yeah, no, it's not looking too good. Dante Moore, everyone was holding out hope for, especially a lot of Jets fans out there. He will not be in the class, and now the battle for QB2 is on. And Ray, to be honest, I would not be shocked if Ty Simpson is the one that ultimately takes that spot, because he was kind of there before, and we'll just see kind of where he ends up after the draft process. And like you said, maybe there'll be a team, like the Steelers in the 20s that will take a shot on a Ty Simpson, because that's probably where he could go.
That's what you got out of him. 9 good collegiate games out of Ty Simpson. And now you want to take him number 2 overall. Good luck, New York. All right, Jay, let's take a break real quick. When we come back, it's all NFL, baby. We're talking about your New England Patriots. We got to talk about my boy, Caleb Williams, and what they're going to do to the Rams this weekend. We got to talk big Brock Purdy. Bo Nix, I'll touch on him as well. Hit the thumbs up button. I see Kevin talking about the Bishop Sankey class. Yeah, y'all, if you know, you know. Hit the thumbs up button, like the content, like the stream, engage with the good people in the comments, and we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the show. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Tuesday, every Thursday, right here on the channel. Make sure you check out all the content here on this channel. If you did not get a chance to check it out, mock draft dropped on Tuesday, but we're going to run it back today. Me and DP will be on the stream today talking all things Dante Moore, and we'll probably do like a mini mock in that as well. So make sure you pull up to check out that content, and then go over to DDFFB. Shane and Scott, the Manic and Chill crew, did a 3-round sort of talking through how you should potentially look at a dynasty startup draft. They did a mock, talked through some different things as well. And then the Dynasty Theory crew talking about the quarterback market, which we were just discussing in regards to the NFL draft, Jay. And I saw some comments that I want to pull up and talk through real quick before we get to the NFL, Jay. Jason said in the chat, if he goes, where's that? He said, if he falls to the second round next year, he shouldn't have been the number 2 pick in any year. And I kind of agree. Like, if he just plays. And if he's like that, he'll be right back where he was at. If he truly is like that, I'm not worried about it. And then, of course, Kevin says the Bishop Sankey glass. Holy crap, I'm old enough to know that reference. So am I, Kev. So am I. And then anytime we say 9, he always puts that in the chat. Jay, people are saying Pavia. That's going to be the guy in fantasy football. Watch. He's going to be like a 5th round pick. And as soon as he plays, people are going to love him. I will have a lot of Diego Pavia in the 3rd, 4th round of rookie drafts this year because he can run around. He's a crash dummy out there at quarterback. So for fantasy, I'll have a few shares in Dynasty, Jay. But let's pivot to the NFL. Where do you want to start, Jay? Let's start with this game. Bills,
okay,
Broncos.
First game?
Yeah, let's go Bills, Broncos. Let's go Bills, Broncos, the number 1 seed, led by Sean Payton and Bo Nix. They host the Buffalo Bills, and they are home dogs in this one. The disrespect.
I think they're favorites now.
Are they favored now?
Well, it just flipped to their side,
okay.
1.5. Yeah.
Well, there you go. 1.5 point favorites at home. They finally showed some love. Bo Nix, Josh Allen, Sean Payton, Sean McDermott. Jay, who wins the game, man?
Ray, I'm telling you, man, Buffalo's winning this game. Like they're going to win this game. And it's funny because obviously we picked it on Bleacher Report, and I want to give a shout out to Michael Florio over at NFL Fantasy because he pointed this out to me, and I don't look at this stuff every week. I'm not sure how often this happens. But the Buffalo Bills offensive line, every single offensive lineman they have is 6'5", 308 pounds or bigger, both height and weight. And the Denver Broncos do not have a single front 7 player that is over 285 pounds. Because even Zach Allen is only 285 pounds. And that's one of the reasons why they whooped their ass last year. What was it? 31-7. Now, that game was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo.
His first playoff start.
Come on, man.
But they also ran all over them. And so for a team like Buffalo last week really struggled to run the ball against the Jags. Jags played phenomenal against them. I think they're going to find success running the football against Denver. Now, one of the big issues for Buffalo, they have no receivers. Tyrell Shavers tore his ACL along with Gabe Davis. But as you see on the screen, they have Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is going to make all the difference. I think James Hill can have a great game behind that big, strong offensive line, and they dominate in the trenches once again. But we'll see how it all plays out. I'm very excited for it. I think it'll be a good game, but I have the Buffalo Bills winning this one.
Yeah, I picked Denver. I picked the home team, Denver Broncos. I think at some point they don't have a receiver, so that really helps out the Denver defense, right? Surtain, who's he shadowing? I don't think there's any shadow for Patrick Surtain, so he just plays his side. They're getting Dre Greenlaw back, I believe, at linebacker, so that should help their rushing defense.
He'll be attacking downhill, right?
And I know you're talking about the size of the offensive linemen, but between Nick Benito, Allen, they can get after the quarterback. That's one of the best pass rushing D-lines in the NFL. This is strength on strength. And when you have number 17, you got a chance every single week. And I trust Josh Allen more than I do Bo Nix. But I think at some point, the lack of having that playmaker is going to come back to haunt Buffalo. The lack of having, it's just Khalil Shakir. You're hoping Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid get it done for you. And you can beat Denver through the air. Like if with the tight end position, you can find some success against them through the air. I just trust Denver at home. I trust the defense at home. I'm a little worried about the weaponry that Josh Allen has. It's a tough game.
How do you feel about the Denver offense versus the Bills defense? Because that's the big question. The question isn't,
I don't know, man.
Because everyone talks about that side, right? The Bills offense versus the Denver defense. And the reason why no one believes in Denver is because no one wants to put their faith in the Denver offense being consistent for 4 quarters against a good Buffalo team.
I'm not as confident in the offensive side of the ball as I am the defensive side of the ball. And it's not just Bo Nix. They've got to be able to run the ball better. It's RJ Harvey. He's going to have to be relied upon. This is a rookie running back, not the biggest guy in the world, but he's going to have to get fed. He's going to have to do his job. Are they going to find production out of Evan Ingram at the tight end spot? Who's going to step up at receiver? Cortland Sutton stepping up. Troy Franklin. Going to be Marvin Mims. I don't know if the young rookie Pat Bryant is back. I know he got banged up towards the end of the season.
Word.
But listen, that somebody's got to step up, and they've got a team of between Franklin and RJ Harvey. Those are young players out there in critical moments. I do trust Buffalo's offense, even though they don't have those playmakers, a little bit more than I just trust Bo Nix. I think it's going to be a damn good game. The same way we talked about the Patriots-Chargers last week being a tough battle for New England, even though we picked them. If Buffalo gets it done, I do not think this is going to be the ass-kicking that you talked about that happened last year in the first playoff game for Nix on the road. This should be a really good game.
Yeah, and apparently Ed Oliver might be back. Maybe.
Well, that's a big boost.
He was designated to return on Tuesday, but again, we'll see if he's ultimately able to play. But yeah, that would be a massive boost for this team because he is basically their entire defensive line. I always talk about Milton Williams on the Pats. Ed Oliver is the exact same for the Buffalo Bills. He is the linchpin of that entire defensive line.
All right, Jay, we got a revenge game here in the playoffs. We're going to your boy to talk about the Stephon Diggs revenge game. Jay, did you remember that he played in Houston last year? And now he's on the other side playing for the Patriots as they host CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans here in this divisional matchup. Patriots, Texans, Pats are favored as they should be in this one. The Texans offense last week, very bad. Jay Rich, very bad. Yeah. CJ Stroud has got to play better ball. But this is all about your boy Drake May and this New England Patriots offense. Will Campbell fired up after a pedestrian performance in his playoff debut last week. He took some criticism for that. You've got Travion Henderson. Really didn't run the ball well last week against that very stout Los Angeles Chargers defense. What are they facing this week? Arguably the hottest defense.
Better one.
A better one, an opportunistic one. This Houston defense is very good. They can get after the quarterback. Azeez Al-Shire's playing out of his mind at linebacker, Pro Bowl player. All four of their secondary positions are pretty damn good. Talk about this one because these are your Patriots. You want to see them versus the Bills in the AFC Championship game. Do they get it done against Houston?
I think they can. And I think one of the main reasons why they hopefully will is all going to depend on what happens with Nico Collins for me. Because if Nico Collins is unavailable, didn't practice yesterday, but again, I wasn't expecting him to. And then we do get back Christian Gonzalez. Like that is I'm not going to go as far as say like can flip the entire game, but that is a massive difference in this game, depending on what happens with those two players. Whatever happens with Gonzalez and Collins can completely change how both these teams play offensively and defensively. But I think much like you're talking about, I'm not so sure that side's going to determine the game. I think the Patriots defense can play very well. I think they can get after CJ Stroud. Can they stop the rushing attack that was very effective against Pittsburgh last week? I think they can because we've seen Pittsburgh be absolute booty stopping the run at multiple stretches throughout this season. So what Houston was able to do to them was a bit of a surprise because Houston's offensive line isn't great. But I do think the Pats can do enough. It's really, what are they going to do against this defense, right? Can Drake May put on the cape, be a real MVP, and go and beat one of the top defenses in the NFL? Because I don't know if you saw Will Campbell talking with reporters yesterday, but he talked about it. He's like, no, I got my ass kicked, and people talked about it, and I wasn't at my best. I need to be better, and I'm playing against a better defensive line this week, and it's only going to be that way no matter how far we make it into the playoffs, and that's always going to be the case. There's always the doubters about Drake May and about this offense, but he has every chance to shut them up, and I do think that Houston's going to have a great game plan. They're going to be able to rush with 4, and it's all going to depend for me is who do they get the ball to and who can be the guy to make the plays, because I don't think it's going to be as easy with Booty and with Matt Collins outside because they're going to be well overmatched with Stingley and Lassiter. So it's going to have to be through the middle with Hunter Henry, with Diggs, and probably with a little bit of Austin Hooper. And then I hope we get another big game from Ramondre because, you talked about Henderson not being very effective. It was a lot up the middle with Henderson last week, and that's fine. But it's all going to depend on how they utilize those running backs, I think will be the big key to victory for the Patriots.
I think you nailed it, too, on the Houston offensive side of the ball. I know everybody felt it because I felt it too. Woody Marks starting the game out well, then he gets hurt. He gets hurt every week. I mean, there is not a single game where he doesn't limp off the field. But 100 yards for Woody Marks. They can run the ball. That's good. Even Nick Chubb gave them some valuable carries in that game.
Yeah.
If they don't have 12, there's no chance. I don't believe that Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, and Christian Kirk. I'm not going to Stephen A. Smith this thing. Christian Kirk, Jay Rich. I don't think that offensive unit is good enough to overcome New England. And whether it's the defensive side of the ball or even matching the Patriots, if they do put up some points against this defense, without Nico Collins, this is a task that I do not think CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans can pass. And the way that I'm not a doctor, not some damn concussion specialist, but the way that he fell onto the face, onto the neck, I don't know. I guess we'll get some reports. Should we have gotten a report yesterday? Did he practice?
He didn't practice. No, he didn't practice yesterday.
Okay.
Right. But I mean, it was a concussion from 2 days ago, right? And it was arguably like a day and a half ago because it was at Monday night.
So then, which makes me even more concerned. And
that's part of the problem. It's a short rest week.
It's a short rest week for them.
Yeah.
Without Nico Collins, I don't think Houston stands a chance. But the defense could give him a chance, I guess. If they cause Drake May,
And
they cause Drake May to make mistakes and turn the ball over.
He made some boneheaded
mistakes last game. He made some bad mistakes last game. Can the Texans defense? What's the spread on this game? That's what.
3.
What's this? It's 3 still.
Yeah, or it's 3.5 now for the Patriots. But it's kind of right in between. Some places it's 3, some places 3.5.
I don't know if I want to take the points in that one. I don't know.
I think if it's 3.5, you take Houston.
Yeah.
You just bank on them covering a close game.
Yeah.
Or winning, obviously.
Well, let's keep it pushing, Jay, and talk about San Francisco in the rematch against the Seattle Seahawks. Brock Purdy and the Niners got to travel to 12, man. That is going to be a tough place to play. Seattle versus San Francisco. We saw them a couple of weeks ago. Remember, first play of the game, pick 6, damn Brock Purdy. Also lost Trent Williams, first play of the game in that one. George Kittle was not 100% in this game. They didn't have Fred Warner in this game. All of those things have corrected themselves this week. It looks like Fred Warner is back. I don't know if that's official.
Really?
But I'm
back?
Have you not seen the practice clips of him? Have you not seen him in practice?
Not ruling out a return.
That's why I said it's not official. It's do or die. Fred Warner, get out there, which is insane that he snapped his leg earlier this year and he's back out there on the field practicing right now. Is this just the case of the luck running out for the Niners? Like, this has been, for them to even be in this spot, but people forget that Brock Purdy missed half the damn season. He's missed half the year. George Kittle's missed majority of the season this year. Juwan Jennings, I don't think he's practiced all year. Just shows up on game day and plays. Ricky Pearsall, I don't want to hear about it. Whatever. If he's out there, great. If not, it's DeMarcus Robinson.
Probably not out there. Yeah.
Come on, man. This dude is Mr. Glass. As the luck ran out, do you really, 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 truthfully have confidence in Sam Darnold in a big moment like this?
Ooh, Ray. Look at you asking the hard-hitting questions. Do I have faith in Sam Darnold?
Because that's the question. That is it. Do you have faith in Sam Darnold?
The answer is absolutely not. 100%, unequivocally, absolutely not.
Okay.
But much like if CJ Stroud was to beat the Patriots, I don't have to believe in CJ Stroud. I have to believe in the other side of the ball. I have to believe in the head coach, Mike Tomlin, and easily a top 3 defense in the NFL in what we have in Seattle.
Easily.
What they've been able to do going from last year, turning it again and taking it up another notch this year, drafting Nick Ebenwari to be the Kyle Hamilton in this new Seattle defense. I don't have to believe a whole lot in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's been great at times this year. He's been awful. You know, there was a lot of people talking about that game against San Francisco and how great he played. I thought he played terrible. Like, I thought that he wasn't able to move the ball. He missed a ton of throws. He made a couple plays, and what did they win? 13-3 because San Francisco couldn't do anything offensively. But now they're going to have Trent Williams back. We saw them get after a very strong Eagles defense. So I don't think it's going to be the same situation. I think Sam Darnold is going to have to make some plays, but I think ultimately for me, I'm going to lean on what I think is the best unit in this game, and that's Seattle defense. And I think that Sam Darnold can do enough, and I bet you didn't know this, or I don't know if you've seen the stat, but Sam Darnold, when he's favored by 6.5 points or more in games, is 7-0 straight up, right? So again, it's not something that we want to say about Sam Darnold. It's not that we don't think there's a chance he could melt down, throw 3-4 picks, losing the game, because we've seen that happen plenty of times in big spots. But he's playing at home. He's got a great defense. And if there's one thing I learned when they played San Francisco last time, Clint Kubiak is not going to let Sam Darnold be the reason why they lose this game. It was very conservative from a play calling perspective. They leaned on the defense. I think they do the exact same thing once again. Playing at home behind their home fans, it will be very difficult for San Francisco. I think they look better than they did last time, but it will still be very difficult for this team because people forget they did that in Levi's Stadium.
Yeah.
They did that in San Francisco. Now they're playing at home. I think the pressure will only be ramped up even more with that defense.
You say they did that. It was the lowest offensive output in Shanahan's coaching career in San Francisco. The Seahawks only put up 13 points. In Sam Darnold's last 4 games, Jay, 3 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, and 13 sacks.
Yeah, it's been bad.
In his last 4 games, he hadn't been that good. 13 sacks, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those games. 2 games, less than 200 passing yards, and you can say he didn't have to do a lot in them, but he hadn't played great either. I think the key to victory is the running attack. They need to just
100%.
run the shit out of Kenneth Walker, get the last little bit of usage out of him. You're not going to re-sign him. He's a free agent, and let Zach Charbonnet do their thing. Take the ball out of Darnold's hands. If you're going to throw the ball, you know who you throw the ball to. It's one person and one person only, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You get him the ball. If he's not open,
throw it away,
right? Get rid of it. Don't look at anybody else. Don't think about somebody else. I wonder if your boy is going to be a big factor in this one. Rashid Shaheed, special teams. You know, once you get in the playoffs.
He usually does. I mean, the thing is, as a receiver, we'll see, but he's made a lot of big plays for this team on special teams, big punt returns, big kick returns. Like,
running
he's probably going to find a way to be a factor. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, run the ball out of the backfield, JSN. We both picked Seattle. I think we both picked Seattle in this one.
I think we both picked Seattle, yeah.
What is the spread on this one?
It's 7.5, I think, right now.
7.5, really?
7 on ESPN, or on DraftKings, but yeah. It's a touchdown. Do you think that's fair or foul, though?
I think it's fair. I think
it seems like a little bit much, but it's still fair.
I think it's fair given the state of San Francisco.
They got beat down last time, too.
They didn't get beat down.
Well, but offensively, it's no different than, like, again, it was kind of the same game we saw between New England and the Chargers. Like, they could not do anything offensively, right?
They couldn't do anything.
So you kind of just knew there was no chance.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything offensively, but having Trent Williams back is huge. Like, not having him on the field, they are objectively and factually worse with him off of the field. Having him back, healthy, ready to go, is huge for them. I think it's fair, but this one might be a little bit closer. I don't trust Sam Darnold either. I do not trust him in the moment. In San Francisco, no one gave him a shot to beat Philadelphia on the road in Philly in that game last week. Maybe they're just roid warriors in this one, Jay. It's going to be a damn good game. San Francisco, Seattle. I think we both did pick Seattle on Bleacher Report, which leads us to the Bears and Rams game. Jay, we've got Sean McVay, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, one of the best coaches in the NFL, against your boy that you dogged out to the high heavens coming into the season. Couldn't stand that Ben Johnson. Didn't like him calling out the players. Didn't like him talking about Burden. And then Coach of the Year in Chicago right now. Got the Bears feeling good, flying high. Probably going to be cold out there on Soldier Field this weekend. Supposed to be very cold out there.
19 degrees.
Jay, I got the Bears winning this game. I've got the Bears winning this game. Yes, Matthew Stafford, best quarterback in the game. Yes, Puka Nacua, best wide receiver in the game. Those elements and the way that you just can't count the Bears out. They've been like this all season long. As soon as you think you got them down, somehow, some way, Caleb and the Magic, they get it done. And that's with them. I don't think they played a great game last week, but in winning time, when they had to get it done, Caleb Williams finding Rome Odunze down the field, making big plays. They probably have, I'm doing a quick look-see right here, the best tight end in the playoffs remaining right now.
Best tight end in the playoffs,
absolutely.
Really?
The best tight end in the playoffs resides in Chicago. No doubt about it. Unequivocally, yes. The best tight end in the playoffs.
Is that the best tight end standing?
Right now, yes. The best tight end left of all 8 teams that are playing resides in Chicago. Colston Loveland, and I think he will be the X factor for this team. Matthew Stafford, as great as he's been, like the turnovers, when they come,
Talk
they come
about
in
it, Ray.
bunches. They come in bunches, Jay. They come in bunches. And the Chicago defense, while you're not going to mistake them for the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, very opportunistic in forcing turnovers and taking the ball away. Kyron Williams, it's cold, baby. Them little Kyron hands, them little Kyron fingers, they get cold, Jay Rich. That helmet, I don't know. Chat, talk to me. Yeah, I don't know how many times you play football in the cold and that cold helmet has hit them hands. It don't feel good, my friend. It is not a good feeling, and Kyron Williams' hands are already slightly shaky at times. Blake Corum a little bit banged up. Defensively, this Rams secondary, Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese. I know they paid that linebacker, number 53, Landman. I think the Bears will Landman? I think the Bears will be able to run the ball on the Rams. We just saw this Rams defense give up 30 damn points to Bryce Young in Carolina. They can't run the ball. They got a rookie receiver and then an undrafted one out of Holy Cross, and they're putting up 30 points on the Rams. A lot of people saying they're just going to go in here and spank Chicago. I think that is a mistake, my friend. Who do you got winning this one?
I got Chicago as well.
Let's go.
I'm with you. Let's completely. Go. Maybe I'm hating a little bit on the Rams.
I ain't hating, though.
But I just think Chicago can win this game. You know, I talked about it on Tuesday, how much and how impressed I was by the second half adjustments by the Chicago Bears. What they were able to do to Green Bay, a division rival that they've already played twice in the year, that they're very familiar with, that Ben Johnson has played a bunch of times. Like, that was a phenomenal game plan in the second half. Now, I don't think Caleb can be as poor as he was in the first half against the Rams and then win this game. But, Ray, I have to ask you this because, like, for me at this point, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. But if Caleb Williams and this Bears team beats the Rams, what do you think it would do for Caleb's legacy and kind of like his place in the NFL? Because when he was drafted, everyone talked about how this is the next big thing. This could be the next Patrick Mahomes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he was not living up to that his first season. It was an absolute disaster. But this is a guy that has come back time and time again. And that's the one thing we always say about Mahomes. He's always got a chance. It doesn't matter. Until the clock strikes zero, Mahomes and the Chiefs always have a chance. And we're kind of saying the same things about Caleb. I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but I will say that something is very special about this kid. He continues to get it done in the big moments. And if he can do it against the Rams, I think at that point you may see people talk about him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, which I think would be kind of crazy. But if he's able to do it, it would be equally impressive.
If they beat the Rams, they're going to the Super Bowl. And I think that's what it takes. It's not this game. This isn't the one that's going to propel him into the upper echelon, or at least in that conversation. They beat the Rams, and then they win the NFC Championship game. He's absolutely there. He's got to win that game. I don't think
that's Burrow, right? Burrow second season type stuff.
This is not. It's not here, right? It's even if he beats Stafford, if he loses to Purdy or Sam Darnold the following week, I think people are going to. You'll be excited, right? You'll be happy about the progression. But to really put him in that conversation, to really put him in that mix, he's got to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they've got a great shot. The fact that they'll be playing outside of the NFC Championship game, well, depending on the outcome of that game, they could be home all playoffs. And that would be a huge advantage to Chicago to have that Soldier Field, home field advantage in the Windy City. I don't think he cements himself with just a victory here. He's got to get to the NFC Championship game, and he needs to win that NFC title game. But yeah, Jay, this is why he was the number 1 overall pick. There's nothing Caleb Williams can't do. The arm strength, incredible. The athleticism, phenomenal. The weaponry, outstanding. You can't think of a better situation. He was just a year early. Remember coming in his rookie year, we're never going to use the punter. They punted the ball every damn game. A bunch of time, more than any other team in the league, right? Now he's got the coach in place. He's got his guy. Colston Loveland is such a big-time part of that offense. And Caleb Williams, I don't know if you caught the interview talking about how much Loveland has done for him in this offense and how good he's been for Caleb Williams. I think Chicago wins it. I think they win the NFC. And I'm telling you right now, I think they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I trust Caleb Williams. And more importantly, I believe in what Ben Johnson is laying down. This is a team that if I were a fan of the Bears, I'd be very excited long-term for the future. And then you just look back at this 24 draft class. Look at what we have in the playoffs here from 2024.
I know, 2 of them.
Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, 3.
Yeah.
Jay Rich, not 2. You got 3
Wow.
quarterbacks from 2024. And then you got McCarthy, whose team was a playoff team, and then they made him the starter. He ain't in there. Michael Penix ain't in there. And then you got Jaden Daniels, who took his team to the playoffs last year. You talk about what at least sets up to be a great quarterback class. My God, 2024 looking pretty damn good outside of 9 and Penix.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at least 3 quarterbacks getting extensions, right? Bo Nix probably going to be the other one who gets an extension as well.
He's absolutely
and so
extended.
you got
Absolutely.
4 guys. But this is why, and people need to remember, we talked about this so much coming into it. The experience of all the quarterbacks. Penix was included in that. McCarthy was included in that to some extent as well. Like, the experience of Bo Nix, Drake May starting for 2 years, Caleb Williams starting for 2.5 years. Like, all this stuff matters. And when you go back to school, you get more experience, you play more football, it all matters. And then Jaden Daniels is another one. He started 50 or 60 games in college because he started at Arizona State, obviously went to LSU, all that kind of stuff. Like, it all really, really matters. And so while last year's class wasn't overly great, and this year's class isn't overly great, maybe, just maybe, 27, we get a lot of talented, experienced quarterbacks and see another thing like this. But yeah, 3 quarterbacks from the 24 class
so funny.
in their second year still playing is insane.
I'm looking at all these people in the chat pumping up the Seahawks. You posers and frauds, you fakelings out there, pumping up them Seahawks when it was all doom and gloom coming in the season because you got Sam Darnold. We traded Geno. It's a downgraded quarterback. And now you're asking me, can Chicago beat that team? Can they? Why do we think Seattle is invincible? Maybe I'm mistaken. Is Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor and Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, are those guys still? Is that Seattle team? Or are you talking about the Sam Darnold led Seattle team? The Seattle team that half the time they don't know what they want to do offensively because they can't run it. They don't commit to the run. I'm not saying they're a bad team defensively. They're great, but to sit up here and talk about them like they are some unbeatable team? Are you kidding me? Hey, what are y'all smoking at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning that the Bears can't beat Seattle? The hell is wrong with y'all, Jay? What are we talking about?
I'm with you, right? I think the biggest thing with this playoffs, right, and the reason why it's been so competitive is you have so many teams that are flawed offensively. Denver is flawed offensively. Buffalo is flawed offensively. The Patriots are flawed offensively. Houston is definitely flawed offensively. The Seattle Seahawks, they've had their moments, but they can be flawed offensively. We've seen the Niners and their flaws offensively. Right? Chicago has flaws offensively because half the time they play terrible and the other half of the time they play like one of the best teams in football. So it's really just the Rams are the one team we view and say, okay, they are for the most part very consistent offensively and can be consistent defensively. But with so many teams offensively flawed, if one of these defenses has a bad game, can the offense lift them up and win the game? And I think to your point, the Bears are one of those teams. When the defense has a bad game, which they do more often than not, the offense has been able to put on a great show, lift them up, and win a game in spite of poor defensive play. And we don't say that about too many of these teams. We will say it about Seattle from time to time. We will say it about the Rams. I think it's fair to say it about the Bears. But the rest of the teams in the playoffs, especially on the AFC side, you won't say it about many of them other than really the Buffalo Bills.
I'm excited for the game. All I'm going to say is this. Jay Rich, we'll be here on Tuesday. We'll be here on Thursday. Make sure all of y'all asses talking that hot cash money, make sure y'all pull up. Because a lot of times, Jay, whenever we're right, the people that do the most talking at y'all, I don't see them. I don't see them in the chat, Jay. I'm going to be here right, wrong, or indifferent. Make sure y'all pull y'all asses up Tuesday morning, all right? Pull up. Tuesday morning. Seahawks worried about the Bears. They need to be worried about San Francisco first before they talk about the Bears. All right.
We both picked Seattle. So.
Yeah, we both picked Seattle. By the way. But let's talk about the national championship game, Jay. We've got a natty game on Monday, and we don't do the show on Monday, so we got to talk about it right now. Indiana versus Miami, Fernando Mendoza. And I want to bring this up. Jay.
Okay.
I see a lot of people from Raiders Nation, okay? A lot of people who are fans of the Las Vegas Raiders say, we are not a quarterback away. We are not a quarterback away in a draft that is very desperate for a QB. And so many QB-needy teams, would it behoove the Las Vegas Raiders to just poke around and see what kind of interest might be out there for the number 1 overall pick? What type of haul, if the Raiders went like this and they just said, F it, full-fledged reset, trading the number 1, and we're trading Max Crosby, what could they get?
Okay.
What could they get? Would that be something you think they should do, or is it like, nah, just take Mendoza? I'm reading comments from people that report for the Raiders saying they should entertain moving off of the number 1 overall pick.
I think they absolutely should. I think we know where this roster's at right now, right? And I think the other side of it, Ray, that you've talked about in some of your mock drafts is it's not even a great offensive line class.
No. It is not.
Right. And so if you're hoping to rebuild the offensive line through the trenches, it's going to be very difficult to do. And all the teams at the top right now, in terms of cap, it's the Chargers, it's the Raiders, it's the Titans. What's the big thing here with all those teams? They all need offensive linemen. And granted, I think the Chargers are in the best spot because they have the best team. If you're an offensive lineman, you want to get paid, they'll pay you. And they have open spots, mostly a guard and center is kind of their main 2 spots, but you will get paid and you'll play for a good team. That's the one thing about offensive linemen people forget is that offensive linemen, they still want to win football games and play for good teams too. They're not just going to go wherever they get paid. The top guys will go to the best teams, and I don't know if the Raiders and Titans can compete with the Chargers, but they will definitely be competitive to get those guys. But for me, absolutely, you have to entertain trading it. You talked about trading the number 1 pick and trading Max Crosby. That should net you at least, in my opinion, 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick, depending on who you trade it to.
Oh, no, you're getting more than that. You're getting more than that.
You could trade it to the Jets, right, which is at number 2. But yeah, depending on who they trade it to, it could be 3 first-round picks for the number 1, and then depending on how you get for Crosby, maybe you get 5.
Could the Jets?
But I think you could swindle the Jets.
Could the
100% you could.
Could the Jets do what Houston did in 2023? Because I don't think they would want to trade the 2 pick. Could they move 16 and?
Oh, you think they go after 1 and 2? The problem is that if they don't trade 2 to get 1, it's gonna be.
I mean, they're gonna gut him. They're gonna gut him for 27.
It'll be 3.
But they've got an extra pick in 27. They trade 16?
But Houston traded first? What? They traded like 11 or 12, right?
They're gonna get gutted, but they can have 1 and 2.
And the Jets Mendoza have 16.
They've got 16.
They have 16.
I'm just throwing it out there. So we're talking about the Natty. Should the Raiders consider moving off of 101?
Absolutely. Their team's too bad.
Okay. All right. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
The other side of the ball, we didn't even really talk about Indiana. You've got Miami. They're playing a home game in the national championship. How freaking cool is that? Hard Rock Stadium. Jay, it's going to be going down. It is going to be going. I don't know if you've ever been to Miami, my friend.
I have not.
long time ago, Jay Rich. Long, no time over the last since I've met my beautiful wife, but a long time ago in another world. Miami's a good place to be. It's going to be popping down there. On Monday night, it's going to be going down. Jay Rich, any chance the Hurricanes upset the Indiana Hoosiers in this one?
Absolutely, there's a chance. Absolutely, there's a chance. I mean, Miami's playing at home. They're going to have the home crowd behind them, but we also know that Indiana team is going to travel very well. The Indiana fans are going to be paying top dollar to go and see their team play in the national championship. The Miami side, there will be fans there, but it'll also probably be a lot of rich guys that are just living in Miami going to the game. So I think Indiana will be in a good spot. I mean, they're favored by 8.5 points, but I don't know what it is, Ray. Cignetti, he's just got my heart, man.
You love him.
He
There's some
has
rumors
just
about
done
him in the
a
NFL too.
phenomenal
He's not going to
job,
do it.
man.
He's not going to do it. But there have been people saying
this team is so good. Like, I like Cristobal. I think he's done a phenomenal job with his team. They feels like every game they've played in the playoff has been an upset, and they've played such good football. But, I mean, come on. Carson Beck, Ray? For a national championship? You know, we talk about Sam Darnold. Do we trust him in the NFL playoffs? You want me to trust Carson Beck
is the Sam
in the
Darnold
national
of
championship?
Yeah, he is the Sam Darnold of the college football playoffs, no doubt. He is.
I just can't do it. I got to bet on Mendoza. I got to bet on Cignetti, the team that I think is just so much better. But we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes down. I think Miami can still put up a fight. They are playing at home, but it's going to be very difficult for for that team because Indiana's just so good.
We got a comment from Rich. Is Mendoza better than Caleb, or is he the next level QB at all? No, he's not better than Caleb as a prospect.
No.
I don't think. No. I don't think. Realistically, Richard, if we were going to put him in with like the last couple, in 24, where do you think he would have gone? Jaden would have been higher than him. And I'm not talking about what they've done. I'm not talking about what they as prospects. It would have been May, Caleb, Jaden. I think Mendoza would have been in that mix for that fourth QB there. Nix.
I think you're discounting him a little bit, and it's not because of talent.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm trying not
to. But because of his success, I could see him going ahead of May. May was a great prospect, but he didn't find a lot of success at North Carolina. And you know me, I love May. I've loved May from before the past drafted him.
May was
he was
great.
Very good.
He was
very good. But he didn't throw 8 touchdowns and 5 incompletions in the playoff and potentially win the national championship. So that's where you got to remember that doing what Mendoza has done elevates you a lot in terms of how you're viewed in NFL circles and in the draft. Now, when it's all said and done, he may be behind May, but I would not be shocked if he was third on that list. I really wouldn't.
I would still venture to say that what Drake May did in his resume at North Carolina, it trumps what Mendoza's done at Indiana. Even in his worst season, Drake May threw for 3,600 yards. He damn near got 500 more passing yards, 24 touchdowns in his worst season. 4,300 yards the year before that, and he had 700 yards on the ground. I think Mendoza would have been fourth on that list. You look at him versus Ward, I think he's better than Cam Ward. I think he's a better quarterback than Cam Ward. Cam Ward may have arguably one of the most ridiculous arms that we've seen in a long time, but I think Mendoza would have been ranked higher than those guys. So very good quarterback prospect in Fernando Mendoza. You see the draft order on the board. What did the Jets do, Jay? They got no damn quarterback. I want your opinion. What do the Jets do? If the Raiders go 1 with Mendoza, what do the Jets do at 2?
This is the worst question for me because they need everything. They don't just need Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. They need everything.
They need a lot.
And the worst part is there's nobody to trade.
I don't know.
There's nobody to trade.
Who's trading up?
I feel like because of Aaron Glenn, they go defense.
They go Reese.
Who's their top guy on defense?
I don't know. Safety number 2 overall.
That would be a very Jets thing to do, to take Caleb Downs, because he's the best player on the board.
BPA.
Yeah. He's the best safety we've ever seen, right, in the last 10 drafts. But yeah, I have no idea what they do. And I think the crazy part is when we love to do the mock drafts and speculate on what's going to happen. That 2 through 5 is going to be an absolute nightmare for the next 3 months because every team needs players and no one's going to know who the hell everyone wants. It'll be just like on draft day when we found out the Jags were taking Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall. And we were like, what? It'll be exactly like that after Mendoza goes 1 to the Raiders.
All right, Jay, hit the music, baby. Hit the music. That's the show. That is the show. We appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear, giving us about an hour and a half of your time today on this Thursday. Jay Rich, every Tuesday and Thursday we are on. We will be back next Tuesday talking all things national championship, recapping the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and I'm sure we're going to get some more coaching news that happens over the next couple of days. Check out all the content on the channels. DP and I will be live later going through the Dante Moore news, running through a mock. We've got content on DDFFB. Subscribe to the Wake Up with Ray and Jay feed. Brand new feed here. We want to get to 1,000. We're real close. to getting those 1,000 subs in just a couple of weeks here in the new year. Check out the shows on the podcast feed if you cannot join live. Jay, close us out, baby.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tapping in. Make sure you like and subscribe. And drop us a comment with who you think is going to win some of these games. We love to always debate with you guys in the comments about that. And let us know who you think gets hired next on the head coaching cycle. Because we got Harbaugh, and now let's see what domino falls after that. But thank you guys so much for tapping in. We will see you guys on
Hawks
Tuesday.
Fans, bring y'all asses on Tuesday, baby. Come on, baby. We'll see y'all. Get us out of here, Jay. My bad.
We out of this thing. Peace.